Hey yo, what's going on, you sexy ass motherfuckers? It's me, I'm back at it again, and today we're gonna do in part 1 to what if Deku had a cartel. Now, it's been a long time coming since I announced this video, and the post did get 100 likes, so hey, I'm here to deliver. Alright, I got nothing else to say, so let's hop right into this motherfucking story. Now, let's get some information out of the way first. Deku and Shinso, who are on the screen right now, are going to be related. They are going to be cousins. So, the way they're going to be related are by their fathers. Izuku's dad's name is going to be Raul, which means Wolf Council. And that name is going to play into Izuku's nickname in the future as well. Shinso's father's name is going to be Arturo, which can be derived from two Celtic words meaning bear and king. So that is how they're related. They are obviously still going to be half Japanese as well, and yeah. So we start off the story where Izuku and Shinso are both 4 years old. Izuku's quirk is now forming as he goes to the quirk doctor with Shinso because he unlocked his quirk at the same time. Now, you obviously know Shinso's quirk, it's brainwashing. But Izuku's quirk in this, if you haven't seen my post yet, its name is going to be changed. Its new name is going to be Tezcatlipoca. Now, Tezcatlipoca means smoking mirror. Tezcatlipoca is the Aztec god of night and sorcery, which is also going to be playing a big role in what Izuku's quirk is and why he's going to be called certain things. And it is a patron deity of Aztec kings and young warriors. Now, Shinso's quirk is also going to be changed. It is going to be more powerful than what it is in canon. Now, he doesn't even have to ask a question. All he has to do is either get a response from you in any way. So, like if he says hi and you say hi back, he can catch you. But if he also holds contact, like eye contact for a short minute, he can also gain control of you as well. Now, him getting eye contact with you is more powerful than getting a response, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, we are going to get into what Izuku's quirk is. As the doctor starts explaining, as everyone in there, so, Shinto's mom and dad, Deku's mom and dad, they're all there, as they start hearing the name of the quirk and the abilities that this quirk has. Now, if you haven't looked onto my community tab, then you don't know what it is. But I'm going to be giving a short explanation on what he can do because this quirk is going to be OP as fuck, but he's not going to be unbeatable. Now, one ability he's going to have is going to be able to mark people for 5 minutes with his shadow to see what they are doing and where they are, no matter where. So, like, let's say they're behind a wall and that person is marked with Izuku's shadow. He can see them through that wall, and he can see what they're doing for up to those 5 minutes. He is also going to have the ability to teleport within a 50-meter radius, although he cannot hide in his own shadow at all. And lastly, he's going to be able to cover bullets and projectiles in his shadow, and when it hits a target, it shuts down their body, kind of like Stain's quirk as well. Although it doesn't matter what blood type, what body type you are still going to get your body shut down for the same period of time. Now, he's only going to be able to shut down your body for 10 seconds. Now, that may not seem like a lot of time, but think of it like this. He can shut down your body over and over and over again if he can get his shadow to hit yours. That is pretty fucking crazy, especially paired up with the teleportation and the marking skill. The fuck are you gonna do, bro? Now, we're going to skip ahead 8 years into the future. Izuku and Shinso live in the same home. The reason being, their parents don't get enough money to where they can sustain each other by themselves. So what they end up doing is they end up living together and, splitting the money in between them so that they can at least survive and have a good roof over their head and not live in such a dangerous area. Now, what they don't know is that both their fathers are in a cartel. They're pretty low on the food chain, but they still get enough money to where they can support their family. But it's a dangerous life, man. Like, you could get killed at any moment, you could get caught at any moment. And if you are even suspected at all of betraying the quote unquote organization, you can get yourself fucked up. And so, on that fateful day, when Deku and Shinso go downstairs, they see their mothers in bloodbaths with bullet holes riddled all over their bodies. And they see a note on the wall with a knife right through it. As when they both see their mother's body, they start crying as they run over trying to say, "Come on up, come on, get up, mom, get up, get up." But it's not working. It's useless. They can't do anything about it. They've been dead for a while. Now you might be wondering, why couldn't they hear the gunshots? Well, there's a simple explanation to that. It's because their mothers weren't killed in the home. They were killed right in front of their fathers as punishment and left at their home to traumatize their children. Like I said earlier, it is a tough life doing that type of work. But when Izuku is spazzing out with emotions, like he's wailing, he's cursing everything, anything he can get mad at, he's getting mad at as his quirk starts acting up, as whiplash of just shadows just come out from his body all over and going into every direction, as it almost hits Shinso, and then out of nowhere the whole room is just covered in darkness, as you can't even see anything except Izuku's eyes, which are all just purple, piercing into you, like he's staring right into your soul. And then the more and more mad Izuku gets, and to a certain point, after a while, everyone within a certain radius of Izuku's home just stop walking. They're paralyzed. They fall to the ground and they can't move. As Shinso's the only one who can move because Izuku's not letting him get paralyzed, but everyone else is. Shinso sees this and he shuts up real quick. And then he says, "Izuku!" As then he responds with, "What?" And Shinso, knowing that now he got him, he says, "Calm down. Don't do this. Calm down now. Please." As that's what Izuku does. And when Shinso and Izuku, after a while of hugging each other and crying in each other's arms, they finally pick up with their eyes stained red because of the tears, snot flowing down their nose, and they go check what the note says as they take the knife out of the wall. As Izuku reads it, it's obviously, of course, said in Spanish, or written in Spanish, and it says, "We have your fathers. If you don't give us $250,000 in US currency, we will kill them. We will give you only 1 month to get that amount of money, and if you don't, both of them are dead. The time is ticking. Each and every day, we will traumatize them to no end." Now, you may be wondering, why are both their fathers being treated like this? Well, because both of them were actually stealing money from the cartel, and that isn't accepted within that type of work. And so, they face the consequences. And when Izuku and Shinso both finish reading, they say $250,000 US in a month? As Shinso's trying to, add up what they can do, because he is really smart. Izuku's smart, but I'm gonna make it in this to where Shinso's, leagues ahead of Izuku. And, Shinso says, "If we want to get that much money, Izuku, we are going to have to kill a lot. And I mean a lot." Now, keep in mind that they're only 12 years old, but, as I said earlier, they are in a good neighborhood. Doesn't mean that they aren't safe from life or death situations. In actuality, they've already killed before, And it's been weighing heavily on their minds, you know, because when they were out with their mothers one day, their fathers obviously gave them guns, why wouldn't they, right? And some people from rival gangs knew about their fathers, but they didn't know about them. But when they did find out about them, they had bad blood. So what they tried to go do was kill their family. That ended up not succeeding because Izuku and Shinso were quick-minded and they shot him up. Their mothers were heavily traumatized by this situation, seeing their own children killing people, but not as much as Izuku and Shinso were. Now, enough of that flashback. When Izuku hears that they have to kill a lot, he already has his resolve set as he looks up towards Shinso and he says, "We are going to get that $250,000. But when we are gonna meet them and they set our fathers free, we're gonna kill them." As Shinso looks onto Izuku as he says, "You sure about that?" And Izuku says, "I'm positive." And for a month, they painstakingly hold a lot of people hostage just to get enough money within that month, staining their hands in blood over and over and over again. And when they finally get that $250,000 on the deadline, they go deliver it. And when they do, the men who are there to pick it up look at them and they see their eyes cold and dead, as they're kind of scared by their eyes. It's something they've never seen before. But they say, "Good job, kids. You earned $250,000 here within a month. You should come work with us. What do you say?" As then, when Shinso and Izuku just say, "Give us back our fathers," they say, "Gladly." But when they get back their fathers, they aren't the same. They've lost all sense of themselves. They just don't know what to do. They get scared by the slightest touch. As when both Izuku and Shinso see this, they get so angry as their blood begins to boil. As then, they lash out, using their quirks and killing the men. Shinso, of course, pulls out a gun. Izuku uses his quirk. And they kill every single one of them in a matter of minutes. Keep in mind, there were 25 people there, and not a single bullet grazed them. Not a single quirk touched them. They were too fast. And when they get done with the bloodbath, they look at their fathers. They get guns, and they point it at them, knowing that why live a life like that when all you do is suffer day in and day out. As they both look at each other with tears in their eyes. They don't even look at their fathers one final time as they both pull the trigger, shooting their fathers in the head. As they drop to their knees and they just begin crying. But not as much as when their mothers died, because they finally had that resolve. They were kind of desensitized to killing. They didn't care. And when, a few members of the cartel come to the location that they were, because they've been taken a while, they see this pool of just bodies. As they see two boys sitting in the middle crying, as they walk up to them with guns pointed at their heads and quirks activated, and they both look at them and they say, please let us join." And when the men say, "What happened here?" They both respond. A rival gang came out of nowhere and stole the money and shot up the whole place. And, they say, which one? And they say, we don't know. Please, let us get our revenge. And when the men hear that, they gladly accept. And you can remember, they are 12 years old. For the next 2 years, they painstakingly work their way up the ladder of the cartel, slowly but surely taking it over from the inside out. And then when they turn 14, they finally have their justifiable revenge in their heads as they shoot the leaders of it. And they take control of the whole thing, renaming it and all. Izuku is the head, el patrón, which means the boss. Shinso is the second in command. And when they rename it, Izuku decides to name it the Erebus Cartel. Erebus is the primordial god of darkness in Greek mythology. And the reason he named it that is because it follows himself, his quirk. And so, Deku also gains a new nickname, El Lobo. If you don't know what El Lobo means, it means the wolf. And it also has a connection to him. Because, as you know, wolves always howl on a full moon, right? And that's what Deku did. He killed them on a full moon. And he's like a wolf. He always has a close circle of people around him who he can trust. And when need be, they kill all. Now, both Izuku and Shinso have gotten over the death of their parents. They understand the hardships of life. Nothing ever goes your way. But right now, they're feeling like they're on top of the world. They have all the money, the power, the bitches they could ever want. But they aren't just satisfied with that. So, what they decide on doing is they pick out some people within the cartel organization to run Mexico. And what they end up deciding is they're gonna expand to every country they can. They first start off with the US, implementing groups. And there, they take it over within 6 months. And they are put on the watch list. No one's ever seen their face before, so they don't even know what they look like. And anyone who does know what they look like, they're kept under tight surveillance. And if they ever decide to try and betray the group, they're put down like rabid dogs. And these two are brutal. They don't care. They take your family hostage. They kill you in the most brutal of ways you could never imagine. They give less of a shit about your life because all they want is power right now. And power is what they're gonna get. Both Izuku and Shinso still go to school. Actually, they've already basically completed high school. They're that fucking smart. And they have this sort of image in the place where they're from in Mexico. They're the good guys, right? There's these like guys who are very justful, right? They're both happy-go-lucky even after what happened to them. But little do they know that these two are the people who cause them the most suffering. Hell, they've even almost bought out the entire fucking military. They own that bitch. They almost even own the entire government. Hell, Mexico's basically their country alone. That's how much power they have. They've almost eradicated every other cartel in Mexico that are standing on their last two legs. Now America is their next goal. Then Canada. than the rest of the fucking world. But they hold off on that for a while as they decide, you know what, we're getting kind of bored of this, boss life. We're still gonna control them like the men we are. But we kind of want to get a taste of how it feels like to be a hero. Because there are a lot of heroes in a lot of countries that are looking into the leaders of Erebus cartel, right? They want to find them. They want to crack down on them so hard that they wish they were never born because of the stuff they've done. But sadly, it is not that easy. These people have money, they have connections, they have people who work for them because they have people precious to them held hostage. They can't do anything. They're held on a tight fucking leash. And so, Izuku and Shinso end up giving power to a lot of the men, trustworthy men, to, guide the countries, make sure that, business is getting done as usual, them getting the cash flow that they want, them getting all the money that they want, with no end to come. It's what it seems like. So, they say, we're gonna go train to become heroes. Oh, we're gonna go to the most prestigious school in almost the whole entire world, UA, which is located in Japan. And so other men, they have a whole fucking party, bro. They don't give a fuck. So they say, let's send them off. Let's send the bosses off. So they do all the drugs. They do all the fucking drinking. They fuck all the bitches. They have all the mariachi bands. They don't give a shit, bro. They balling out that night, right? Because they love their boss. Like, their boss is, like, so fucking great, right? They pay everyone a good amount of money. Like, a lot of fucking money, bro. So, yeah, and so they throw a big-ass party. They have all their cards there. They have, loads of cash everywhere just laying on the floor, bro. And so, Izuku and Shinto both get their own rooms, and they fill with bitches in each one of them, bro. And Izuku's just fucking left and right, left and right. Same with Shinso. And, when Izuku gets done with them, and the whole party's died down, he wakes up, he looks around, he sees all his clothes, his whole room is all jumbled, it's all a mess. Finds a cigar, lights that bitch up, and just says out loud, Hija de la gran puta. That was a fucking night. As he gets up, puts on a robe, walks out the room, goes to Shinso's room, knocks on the door. Shinso opens it up and he says, "What's up?" And he says, "Alright, today is the day we go out. Alright, so make sure you don't do anything crazy." As Shinso says, "Me? Do anything crazy? Look who the fuck's talking, bro. You're one goofy ass son of a bitch." But yeah, I know. So, let's get ready. As when they head downstairs, they already see a group of men and say, "Hola, patron!" Which means, "Hello, boss." And Nizuku responds with, "What's going on? How did you like last night?" As the man responds, "We loved it, sir." As Nizuku says, "Hey, that's great. But get your game faces on, bro, because after this, we're out of here, and you guys are going to have to fend for yourselves. We're not always going to be able to hold your hand, As they all nod and, we get that, boss, we get that. So, hopefully you have a good time over there, and, let's see what you become. What if you do become a great hero?" As both Izuku and Shinso look at each other, and they like, we are going to become great heroes, and they're not even going to know that we're both the leaders of this fucking cartel. Let's go. As they both, pick up their bags, as, their men say, "Wait, hold on, are we gonna take it for you?" And, they both say, nah, you guys can enjoy yourselves. We're gonna do this ourselves for now, As, they all look at each other and they're like, "Okay then, boss." As they both walk out, get in some fucking fancy ass cars, bro. Like, when I'm talking fancy, they got fancy cars. They got vintage cars. They got new super sports cars. Like, bro, they got everything there, bro. And, they pick out some clean ones. So, Shinso, he grabs himself a little fucking, Lamborghini. But Izuku, he feeling a little stylish about himself. So he grabs a Pagani. As they both start the cars. And, as I said earlier, they basically own this whole entire country. So they don't even have to worry about the law. And so, Izuku looks at Shinso. He's like, "Hey, yo, Shinso, what about, what about a little race?" Shinso looks at him and he says, "Really? A race? to the airport? Say less, say less. As they both get in starting positions, as Izuku says, three, two, as he pulls out a gun, points it into the air, as he says, one, as he shoots it, and he starts going, as, bro, all you see is two supercars, right? Going down the fucking road, speeding as fast as all hell, bro. As they get to they get to the airport, and when they cross the line to get into the airport, Izuku says, "Nah, nah, bitch, I got here first." And Shinto saying, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Stop lying. I got here first. All right, I won the race fair and fucking square." As Izuku's like, "Man, you just hating, bro, cause you salty, you lost." As they both get to their private jet, because why the fuck wouldn't they have a private jet, man? As they both get on there, put their bags in. There, a couple of men were waiting there, so they helped them put the bags in. As Izuku, and Shinso both look at each other and they're like, "Damn, it's crazy. All this progress, all this work that we put into this shit. And look at us, almost owning an entire country for ourselves." And they don't even know it. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Who knows, bro? We're about to own the entire world in our hands. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Let's say both, get in and they head to Japan. And let me tell you a little bit of insight. So, there was also another way they got money besides selling drugs and performing hit and runs and all this other stuff. They stole a lot of money from big corporations, businesses, and everything from around the world. So they found a way to not get tracked and, get traced back to the location where they were. And one major company that they stole a massive, and I mean a massive amount of money from was the Yaoyorozu company. They forced them to go into bankruptcy. So, Momo isn't as rich as she is now. In actuality, she hates the Erebus cartel because she knows it was them. Because they talk about it online, not giving two shits about what the military, what other people from other countries are gonna do. The fuck are they gonna do? Catch them? They don't feel like they're gonna catch them, so they don't, right? And so Momo is not to the point where they're, almost dying of starvation because they don't have enough money. They're just not rich as they used to be. They still have a good amount of money, and they put Momo through the UA, entrance exams because they can't use the money that they had to, get her a recommendation. So Momo has to go through the entrance exams. And so when Deku and Shinto get to Japan, they obviously still have 10 months to train and do all this other stuff for the entrance exams. And so that's what they do. They fight each other a lot. They go on weights, they practice boxing, and they start trying to find new people. Because as I said earlier, they are trying to take over the world and have it under their control, doing whatever the fuck they want. They don't give a shit. And so, throughout those 10 months, they do find a couple of people. They find about 4 people. A girl named May, a boy named Mirio, another one named Dabi, and a girl named Toga. And let me get into what they're gonna do in the cartel. May is going to be the main weapons specialist. She is also going to be a lieutenant. So she is going to have her own territory within Japan. Now, we're going to get into how Izuku got May. He met her one day in a cafe and he saw her kind of tinkering around with things. And it was like, damn, I might be able to use her. So he walked up to her, spit some game, got her a little, confident, got her feeling herself. And then he was like, how about we talk to each other, outside, somewhere private? She says, okay. As Izuku takes her to a room, and he spits his game so well. She lets him hit, and they have a night. And when they wake up the next day, Izuku's up before May, and he sits in bed, smokes some weed. He don't give a fuck, bro. He can do whatever he want. He a boss. And then May wakes up, and she was about to leave. She says, "I can leave if you want me to go." As Izuku's like, "No, no, 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 no. I want you to stay. I want to talk to you for a little." As she says, "Okay." As Izuku, looks at his blunt, he's like, "I want you to join my cartel." And then May's like, "Cartel? Why?" As Izuku says, "You'd be an amazing weapons specialist, and I need someone with your type of expertise in that area. You would be very valuable to me." As May gets a little flushed by that, and she says, "But I want to become a hero." As Izuku says, "But would heroism let you do the types of things that you want to do? Build the things you want to do? Would you have an unlimited budget? I don't think so. But if you join me, I'll give you all the money you want for your little experiments. All you have to do is make me weapons and we're equal. Hell, you can even become my wife." As May, when she hears wife, she kind of hops on his dick. So she like, "Okay then, I'll become your weapons specialist." So that's how he got May. Next we got Mirio and Dabi. Mirio in this story though, he has a fucked up childhood. He has to where heroes kind of killed his family by accident from collateral damage. And so he kind of hates heroes. And so when Izuku finds him, Mirio and Dabi are like a duo together. And so, by accident, one day Izuku walks around the corner at the perfect time. He sees both Mirio and Dabi beating the shit out of a hero. Because they have a certain burning passion of hatred against them. As, Izuku was walking by, he had his suit, like he had everything, bro. He had his watches, his chains, his fucking clothing, all his shit was on fleek, bro. He didn't give a fuck. He was all stylish. He didn't care where he walked. No one's gonna touch him. Fuck are they gonna do about it? So when he walks past them, he looks. He's like, huh, pathetic. And then they both stop. They turn around and say, "Pathetic? What? Are you trying to get beat up too?" As Izuku says, "Please, like you could beat me up. If you want, I'll even give you a little bet. If I beat you two up into submission, you do whatever I say. If you two beat me, you can do whatever you want. How does that sound?" As they both look at each other and they say, "You must be a dumbass. Alright then, we'll take you up on this offer." As Izuku says, "Perfect." As he flicks his cigarette out of the way, takes one final swig of his beer, throws it on the floor as it shatters, and then out of nowhere, he disappears. As he reappears on top of the building and he says, "Hello there, boys. You think you can catch me up here? No, no, no." As then he pulls out a gold-plated AK-47 out of fucking nowhere as he coats the bullets in his shadows. And then he starts lighting the bitch up as Mirio turns permeable as Dabi puts up his flames. And then Izuku like, "Oh, what amazing powers they have. They'll be useful." And then Izuku teleports to the floor, shoots Dabi in the back, paralyzes him. And then Mirio comes behind, but it was already too late because Izuku already marked him. He dodges over and over again as Mirio's like, How the fuck are you dodging me?" And then Izuku says, "Because I'm that much stronger than you." And then, when Mirio was about to try to hit him in the face, Izuku turns around and left hooks him in the chin, knocking him out. As Izuku waits for them to wake up, and when they finally wake up, he looks at them as they try to get up in a fighting position again, but then he says, I'm not gonna hurt you again. I already won our little bet. Now, you will do as I say, okay? They both lower the guards and they say at the same time, fine then, what do you want us to do? As Izuku says, I want you to join my cartel, if that's okay with you. As they both look at each other, nod, and say, well then, boss, what are we gonna be doing? As Izuku says, oh, you didn't even try to resist? Why not? As Izuku hears their stories about them hating heroes with a burning fucking passion. As he smiles and he says, perfect for the job. And now let me tell you what these two are mainly going to do. These two are also going to be lieutenants of their own territories in Japan. They are going to be hitmen. So basically, these two are going to be the main two that Izuku is going to look towards if he needs a job done well. They will carry out anything such as assassinations, kidnappings, thefts, extortion, operation protection rackets, and defending their plaza. If you don't know what a plaza is, basically their turf, from any rival groups and or the military. These two are going to be high up there. They are also going to be the people who, supply and produce the drugs that they use. So like cocaine, crystal meth. Cocaine is going to be their main thing, but they also do dabble in everything else because they want more money. Who doesn't like more money? Especially cartel members, they love that money. And so he has two new people in the circle. And so we cut, a week later as Shinso and Izuku are meeting up with all three of them as they discuss their plan on how they are going to take over Japan. And, they kind of discuss, and then Shinso brings up the fact that they need someone who can infiltrate any group, company, or anywhere they need them to infiltrate. As Izuku says, yeah, you're right, Shinso, you're right. Do any of you know someone who has a shape-shifting quirk? As then Dabi raises his hand as he says, well, me and Mirio have been hearing about this girl named Toga. Heard that all she needs is someone's blood and she's good to go. As Izuku looks towards Shinso and Shinso nods and he says, perfecto, which means perfect. And then he says, find me this girl named Toga. Let me have a conversation with her. As Dabi and Mirio look at each other, then they say, okay then, boss. We'll get you that girl in 2 days, tops. As Izuku says, I appreciate it. Now, this calls for the end of the meeting. You're free for the day. And then we time skip one day as Mirio and Dabi have secured the location of Toga and have requested her to meet their boss. She accepted, wondering what it was about, as Izuku meets her, as he sees that she kind of crazy, like damn, those eyes are a little scary. But Izuku's eyes are scarier. So he says, I heard your name was Toga. What's your full name? And she says, my full name? It's Himiko Toga. As he says, I also heard that you have a sort of shape-shifting quirk. Mind telling me how it works? As she says, all I have to do is take someone's blood and I can shapeshift into them for almost as long as I want, depending on how much blood I have. I believe that is how her quirk works. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then Izuku says, how would you feel about joining my cartel? As she says, your cartel? Well, what do I get out of joining you? As he says, it seems like you're a crazy girl. I like my fair share of crazy women myself, so that's just an added bonus. But for as what you gain, you can do whatever you want. When we take over Japan, When we take over almost every country in this world, you can do as you please. You can take all the blood you want. You can kill all you want. All you have to do is listen to me when I tell you to do something. Other than that, you're basically free to do whatever. As Toga thinks it over and she says, okay then, deal. As Izuku says, whoa, that was quick as well. Well, it's good to have you on board. As, Toga then says, but what will I be doing? As Izuku says, well, you're going to be a spy. You will also be our eyes and ears everywhere. You're going to be part of the lieutenants that I have already. You will gain your own territory, and you will have to reside in that territory unless needed elsewhere for a job or a mission. You will also be the leader of everyone who has eyes and ears, right? Does that sound good to you? Do you think you can handle it? As she smiles and she says, yeah, I could handle that pretty well. As Izuku says, perfect, perfect. I think this is all I should have for now. Can't let my circle get too big, because if I do, there are bound to be snakes hidden in the grass. And then the 10 months is over, as we cut to the entrance exams. As Izuku and Shinso, they head to UA, and they get there early as fuck. They don't care. They kind of reek of beer and tequila and vodka and all these drinks, because they had a night. They had a blast. When they get there, some people kind of smell it, but they don't say anything about it. And they get in there as they sit near Ida. And so the presentation with President Mike obviously still happens as usual, and Ida raises his hands, and President Mike calls on him, and he says, excuse me, but you forgot to mention one thing. President Mike was like, what is that? And she says, the 0-pointer. It clearly says it right here in the pamphlet. This is highly, highly damaging to the name of UA. A prestigious school like this shouldn't mess up this badly. And then he says, and you, too. You both reek of alcohol. How dare you come to this school and smell like that? Then Izuku looks at him and he says, how dare I come to school smelling like this? I do as I damn well please, boy. You won't tell me what to do. I've seen more horror in my life than you will ever experience, okay? Don't fuck with me. Ever. And then he says, also, I believe President Mike was just about to get to the 0-pointer before you so rudely interrupted him with your dumbass shenanigans. Don't do it again. It makes you look dumb. As everyone in the room starts laughing, as Ida sits down, and he's embarrassed as fuck. As President Mike says, yeah, thank you, contestant so-and-so. And then he says, now that we're over with that and we're all ready and set, you will first take your written exam, and then you will have the practical. As both Izuku and Shinso ace the written exam, Shinso more so, he got it done quicker since he is the brains of the whole organization. Izuku is still smart, but it's better to rely on Shinso than himself, And so, they head to the practical portion. And when they head there, Izuku stretches, and, he just stands there. Shinso's in the other area, and then the timer starts going down. And then when Ida was just about to say some shit to him, President Mike says, 3, 2, 1, and then as soon as the doors open, Izuku teleports all the way to the entrance. And then everyone's like, what? He didn't even say go yet. And then President Mike says, heroes don't wait for someone to tell them to save someone. They go right ahead whenever they damn well please. And then Izuku's like, I like this guy. Hopefully I don't have to kill him. And Izuku, for 30 minutes, is just crushing robots left and right using his shadows. And although he doesn't have his projectiles, he still can use his shadows to penetrate things. It's just not as powerful as it would be with a projectile. And so, he's having a fun ass fucking day. Like, he's so happy doing this shit. He can let loose for once without actually hurting someone. And so, out of nowhere, the floor starts rumbling. And then a big ass robot comes from the ground as contestants start running and running away. And then Izuku hears a girl screaming. And then he goes towards the voice and he sees it's a girl with black hair and a pretty fucking nice figure. And no, it's not Uraraka, it's actually Momo. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, you know the bad blood that Momo has with the Oedipus cartel. Little does she know that Izuku's actually the leader of it. He's the one who actually stole all the money from her. So Izuku goes to help her out, picks everything up with his shadows, and he's perfect. And so, what ends up happening is that he takes Momo away as fast as possible. He teleports all the way to the closest person and he says, "Here, take this girl to safety." Right? And he teleports back and he looks towards the robot and he says, "Ah, shit. This is going to be a problem. Ah, fuck. Should I take out my gun? Nah. As he uses his shadows, as he starts forming kind of like a twister, right? He like makes his shadows contort into a spiral and starts spinning it really fucking fast. And then he plunges it into the center of the robot. And the robot falls down. But Izuku falls down on one knee as he starts breathing heavily as he says, That took a lot out of me. Ah, fuck. As he falls onto the ground, tired as hell. And then he says, I should probably train my quirk more. I was not ready for that. And then he says again, but at least I got it to die. And we go to the viewing room as we see all the heroes just gasping, very impressed by what Izuku did. And Aizawa says, he's perfect. I like him already. And then they look towards Shinso, who's doing a good ass fucking job as well. Like, even with his, quirk that isn't meant for practical use, they see that he's doing amazing because he's using his smarts to destroy robots a lot. And Aizawa says, damn, even for a quirk that isn't meant to be used for fighting, he's doing amazing. I like him too. I want both of them in my classroom. And, Nezu says, wow, Aizawa, I've never seen you be so adamant for choosing people. Usually you just let us choose them. As Aizawa says, no, I feel something different with these two. I like him. I want him in my class. No exception. As Nezu says, alright then, you can have him. As, President Mike gets on, the mic. And then he says, now, that is the end of the practical portion of the exam. It is now over. You will receive your scores within a week and see if you got accepted into UA. Now that we're done, you all can go home and enjoy the rest of your day. Rest up, will you? Izuku meets up with Shinso as Izuku says, man, I'm fucking beat. And then out of nowhere, the girl who he saved, Momo, comes up from behind him as she says, excuse me? As Izuku turns around and he says, yes. As Momo says, thank you for saving me. I'm sorry that you had to waste your time on me. As Izuku says, oh, no problem. I'd do anything to save a girl like you. You're really stunning. As she kind of blushes as she says, okay. As Izuku says, it's okay, you can be as flustered as you want, but hey, I was wondering if, you would want to hang out sometime, I mean, I did save your life, so it's the least you could do. As she says, yeah, do you have a number? As Izuku gives it to her, as, she says, okay then, bye. As she walks away, as Shinso looks towards Izuku, and he says, bro, Bro, are you really going to finesse every girl you meet? As Izuku's like, hey man, I'm sorry, I just got away with the girls, you know what I'm saying, bro? Fuck, bitches get money. Shinto's like, I know, but you're taking it to like another level, bro. You trying to break their hearts. Izuku says, I'm not trying to break their hearts. I'm telling them the truth. If they want to fall in love with me and marry me, I don't care. I can do that. I can have multiple women. I'm just that guy. Alright? Shinto's like, oh my gosh, bro, what the fuck am I gonna do with you? Izuku says, I don't fucking know, man, but hey, nothing's stopping you from getting hoes. Shinto's like, but I don't want hoes. I'm focusing on our cartel right now. You gotta be mindful of things. Izuku's like, I know. Alright, I'll chill out for a little, okay? Shinto's like, good. As they both get into their cars, Izuku says, hey yo, I'ma speed off to go meet May, so hey, if you don't mind, I'll catch you later. As Izuku starts whipping around in his car, and then he goes to meet May, and he walks up to her house, cause she has a house now, she got money, alright? And so he knocks on the door, and he and May have what I say a fucking night. Now I'm not going to get into details in this video, but hey, who knows, if y'all really want an 18 plus scene, I can probably suffice. And when Izuku wakes up the next morning, he looks at May, and May is also getting up as well as she looks at him, and they just make out. They don't say any words. It's kind of just natural. And so Izuku gets up and he says, "All right, I gotta go back to Mexico. I gotta see how things are going over there personally. You wanna come with me?" As May looks at Izuku and she's like, okay, I have nothing else to do. As Izuku says, great. We'll be back within a week. All I had to do is check up, make sure that they're not doing anything too bad. As May says, alright, I'll get my bags ready. As Izuku calls up Shinso and he says, yo. As Shinso says, yeah, what's up? As Izuku responds with, I'm gonna be going to Mexico. I'm gonna go personally check up on them. Alright? Shinto says, okay, do whatever you want. It's all good and dandy over here. I'll check up on the US. As Izuku says, alright then. Leave Mirio, Dabi, and Toga in charge while we're gone. We're starting to build a following over here. As Shinto says, don't you think I already fucking know that, dumbass? Alright then, see you. As Izuku said, fuck you, bitch. See you too. As they both hang up on each other and they both head their separate ways to go check up on their other territories. And that is where I'm going to be ending off part fucking 1 to what if Deku had a cartel. Now hopefully you enjoyed this series and stuck through to the end. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. But other than that, I have nothing else to say. Actually, hold up, one more thing. I will be coming out with a new series as well. It'll be What If Deku was a reincarnation of Zenon from Black Clover. Watch out for that. Soon. But other than that, I'ma catch y'all sexy ass motherfuckers. Ha! Later.